So many of us have been taught to believe that I'm an empath and I'm overwhelmed by this world, but in reality, you're not overwhelmed by the world. You're overwhelmed by everything you've been unconsciously picking up from within it. Let's just deep that for a moment. In reality, we're not here to fight the system. In the soul's reality, we're not here to fight the system. We're not even here to leave it. Instead, we're here to create from a level of awareness that never originated while inside of the construct. This is the moment we remember that the system exists within our field of perception, not the other way around. And our field of perception is not limited to the system. The moment we stop outsourcing our power and projecting our power outwardly, and instead we redirect that and anchor it into the crown, okay, the higher self, anchored into the entire organism, roaming this earth according to their divine essence, you're no longer creating from an inherited pattern of survival and limitation, but you start creating from beyond it. I'm hearing you start creating what life on earth could look like beyond the bloodline, beyond perceived limitations, inherited limitations, societal conditioning. You navigate this world with otherworldly knowledge. It's the moment that you anchor in interdimensional otherworldly awareness while inside of the system. So you're not escaping the world, but instead you're seeing through the illusions of it clearly. And so from this level, you're no longer just a person or a human navigating this world, but instead you are literally infinite potential choosing how to experience itself. It's the moment that the ego is seen as the vessel, the conduit, in order for your celestial origins to incarnate into this terrestrial plane, a temporal moment within eternity. And that is not the self. It's a vessel for the self to experience itself through. A medium for you to be immersed within. And the remembrance is the moment that you become less dense than the medium you are immersed in, because you no longer see yourself as limited to the physical realm. You're experiencing the physical realm, but you branch and originate far beyond the system. So before we dive deeper into this, I want to show you the point of reference that inspired this message. And this was back in Mexico City, where I was inside the museum and there was this piece of artwork on the wall. And the moment I saw that, I was like, oh, that's a higher dimensional version of him. And this is applicable to every single one of us. So I'm going to go ahead and throw up the image and explain the things that I was seeing. So here's the image here. So as we can see in this image, we have this lying figure on the floor. And I like to call this the identity. It's the avatar, the carbon-based life form. It would become a medium or a vessel or an instrument for the soul to experience life on earth through. This avatar or character, the one inside of the experience, is actually equipped with many gifts and abilities within its energetic signature that actually assist the soul's intentions in this lifetime. So it becomes a self-organized, perfectly designed avatar that is going to benefit the soul's celestial origins and intentions while immersed inside of the terrestrial plane. So it's going to assist it with everything that is desired to experience while inside of form. Now, the Jaguar being, or this higher dimensional being, is the observer. It's the awareness behind it. It knows that it's not this player, okay? Enter your name that you're playing in this lifetime. Who are you? Lucas, Jennifer, Adam? Let me know. And he's not attacking this ego. He is actually showing it, right? He's reminding it that it's not fixed to the system. It doesn't have to fight the system or fear it, because it's no longer inside of it in the same way, right? It's trying to remind it you are not bound or subject to this experience. It's one of many that you are navigating through. And this is true responsibility, right? It's the moment that this interface or this internal communication happens, where the high dimensional being is actually telling the ego, you cannot blame this system, you can't blame the people, you cannot blame your past, and this is real responsibility. And from this level, everything that you experience is something that you're allowing, right? He's showing the ego this. It's something in which you're selecting and aligning with, and not always consciously, but always vibrationally through resonance. Every single thing that it's attracted has been from its own subjective wounds. I'm hearing its own collective wounds. So these are like ancestral reinforced decisions have created a very specific energetic signature that it's incarnated into, and has actually intended to experience for the pure purpose of being able to alchemize them. So it's saying that you're not your wounds, you are not your past. It's reminding him of that, right? It's the eternal aspect that's experiencing itself temporarily through form. So it's saying don't get lost within the illusion and don't forget yourself as an eternal being. And from that 0 point perspective, it isn't just peace, but it's a moment where unconditional love can emerge, because he's able to say, okay, I fully accept myself. I'm not being pulled by emotion. I'm not being defined by this moment that I'm going through. That's something that's so hard for so many of us. And I'm no longer reacting in this moment from a place of distortion, from a place of disconnecting from myself. I'm simply aware, and from that awareness, I can choose what it is I want moving forward. So this internal, you can see it as a confrontation or invitation, is actually something that is a depiction in my eyes of what the illustrator, of what the artist is showing in this photo. As a reminder, it's saying that you are not bound by this moment, you are not defined by this moment. And now that you remember yourself, what do you choose moving forward? No longer identifying with your past, but instead it was all in perfect design for you to come into the only desire that you have while inside of the system, which is to remember yourself while being immersed within it, because then you can navigate it completely differently. And so the image is saying that you're both, right? You are the one inside of the system, inside of the experience, and the one holding it in place. Okay, you are holding this entire system while you're existing within the mind of source. You're not just dreaming this experience into being, but you're literally living inside of the dream. Notice how these words are designed to literally shift your consciousness into deeper levels of introspection that actually allow you to anchor in and travel into higher dimensions. So you're now in this third dimensional realm, but you're not seeing it from a third dimensional perspective, right? So this is the moment that the shift happens. It's literally the moment that you realize you can move from the body, and you can also be the one that's simultaneously holding the frame. It's a moment where awareness is not just localized to the body, but it's the very field that the body or the vessel moves through. This is a reminder that when you identify with the ego, you react. But when you observe the one that's observing what's happening in real time while being immersed deep in the chaos, but you can still see the cosmos within it, you return to the secret order and what appears to be disorderly. And then you simply just edit the experience that you desire. I invite you, next time reality doesn't look the way that you want it to, don't try to change the scene itself, okay, or try to control it externally. Change your internal state and how you're relating to the scene that's taking place. Because reality doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you are. And when you are, and you remember that you are everything and nothing simultaneously, there's a complete different, I'm hearing totality that you'll see of this reality. We can actually limit the totality of this experience by believing that we are merely bound by it or subject to it. So we have Hathor light codes, light immersion, full system upgrade, and power recall. So this could be you calling all of your awareness back to yourself. This is a very, very powerful card. I mean, the Hathors is all about the divine feminine, the cows are all about fertile symbols. So as you remember yourself as an eternal being that's more non-physical than you are physical, the more fertile this experience gets. It may feel that source is separate from us, but in truth, we are always connected, even when we feel like we are not. This gateway takes us not upward, but inward. So the universe wasn't pulling anything away from you. It was always pulling you back inwards to this point of remembrance. This gateway reminds us through the stargate of our heart, and look at what we have at the base, the stargate of the heart. We are connected to the heart of creation. Not only that, but we exist and express ourselves within that heart. Even though we may be on planet Earth and experiencing Earth as a planet within the Milky Way, all of this and more is actually being expressed by the heart of Source. The vastness of this divine love is inexplainable, but it's who we are. You are connected directly with the heart of Source and the creator of life. Whoa, I thought I read Hathor light codes, but they're right next to each other. So you needed to hear that. Okay? The Hathor light codes is that this is light immersion. So you are light immersed within this experience, collapsed into form, a temporal form. You are experiencing a full system upgrade. The infinite solar light within you is expanding. It's a time for expansion and excitement. You are filled with unlimited potential. The gifts that were once in darkness are now being brought to light, and all the parts of yourself that have been hidden and now ready to be seen. Life is being restored, and if you've been experiencing sluggishness or tired energy, that's being washed away as something ancient is awakening and remembering within you. You are here and welcome home to your light. So this is a place that you have returned back to, okay? It's a guiding force within your life that's been assisting you through this internal structure. I just got a notification from one of you, and we have 1313 on the clock as well, which is clarity coming in after the storm, right? So that could be something that you're finally seeing. That could be yourself clearly. And you said the sacred tranquility. So there could be like a sacred tranquil energy. I also have a time for listening energy coming through. You're clear-headed, articulate, and mindful to listen before you speak. That could be something that you're paying attention to, where the universe is in all things. You are the universe experiencing itself as all things, or so you're speaking to yourself through everything around you. But do you trust yourself in not just listening, but being able to interpret the messages that you are encoded into your own experience? That's what I would say. Let's get a Cosmos Oracle message. So this is just one moment in eternity. Infinity. Of course it is. Of course we have infinity, right? Because you are an eternal, infinite being. And then you have time experiencing itself through time at the base. Are you kidding me? This talks about universal timing and the human's timing. So again, it's trusting yourself as you experience time, and not just experience yourself moving through space-time, but more accurately, space-time moving and refracting through you. Okay, time experiencing itself through you. So there could be changes along the timeline, and then we have weightlessness even behind time. Let's go ahead and read infinity. This card honestly doesn't come out too often. So this says, be open to the possibility of possibilities. And that's so interesting because before this reading, I wrote something around many measurements. I was looking into the many worlds, and I wrote many measurements in that realm somehow seem to pick out one definite reality. But the bigger picture is that it creates more than one world. So sometimes we pick out one definite reality, and, we can do that even when we interpret with tarot. But the thing is, it's just picking up on what is in resonance with you at that moment within space-time, but that's subject to change just like you are. There are literally infinite realities available to you, but it's up to you which one you want to be able to collapse into your experience. And often that's through your action or your inaction. So the universe, and I'm hearing not just planting the seed, but remembering who you are as you plant that seed, because what will grow will be subject to what you know yourself to be in that moment, okay? The universe as we understand it is truly infinite in every sense. Beyond the space that we can see exists more universe. The slice of the universe that we can see is limited, since only the parts whose light has had time to reach Earth is observable. This means that there is always much more than what can be seen, and there can remain an infinite number of possibilities. Infinity has no end, therefore it's infinite. Our minds have a start and end, so they prefer to stay within the limited because it's more comfortable. Reason states that there are a few possibilities but ignores the other millions. By not considering or believing in those, we limit the infinite by putting limits on something that does not have them at all, so we intimately cease to exist. Again, we can literally put a cap on our potential in this realm by forgetting who we are as we move through this system. And there was a message coming through there, we'll see. Infinity proposes that you see beyond what you can see now, opening your mind to the possibility of possibilities. If you do so, they will arise again in plenty new forms, but again, not without getting rid of the limitations first. When you remember yourself as a limitless being, and whether a fractal of awareness is conscious of the fact that it's infinite potential does not negate the fact that it's still infinite potential, and I'm speaking about you as a fractal of infinite potential. You are a fractalized expression of source, and source is everything. So we are infinite beings. You have always been a highly abundant being in this realm, and awakening isn't about changing who you are, it's just discarding all the conditioning of the world in which you have adopted as your own. Okay, and that's something that naturally happens as we move through this construct. We adopt reinforced thought systems. We, as a state of infinite potential, begins to become defined by the world around us that we move through. It takes us out of a state of coherence. But the moment that we come back into coherence and electrical communication with source, we remember that we belong to something that transcends this system that we're immersed in. And there was another message that was coming through. Let's see if it comes back around. And that is the message for you today, right? Don't forget what you are and whom you are as you move through this system. We can take on belief systems that then begin to govern how the internal universe within us experiencing itself through the projection of this universe around us. And that will always be a reflection of what we believe our capabilities to be. These belief systems can literally disrupt the flow of life force that can move through us and freely into everything that we do. Because we're not creating from a place of being perceived, we're creating for creation's sake, because that's what we are, a creator inside of our own creation. A realm where the possibilities are endless. See, the universe is abundant, but the only lack that exists is within the mind. Lose your mind and find yourself in the process. Observe the mind and know that you are not bound by it. So, should we get a message? Let's get a message. Let's get one of these. This is really just, and what's interesting is after infinity, you have the light curve card, which basically talks about we cannot predict how the adventure will unfold. Oh no, my microphone. Okay, it's fine. So navigating the fluctuating waves. Let's see, let's get one more message. How is my relationship with the living and the dead? Okay, how is your relationship with life and death? How is your relationship with the cyclical pattern that is life? How is your relationship with change? Do you see change as something to feel brace for? Or do you see change as something that you're being called to embrace? Because again, you have light curve, which is a changeable wave, and embracing changes. What change are you being called to embrace now? And what infinite potential and edge of your local cluster of realities exists on the other side of that change? What change are you being called to lean into right now? So I'm gonna leave you right there. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing because we'd love to have you around. Personal reading details are also down below. Also check out Autistic if you're looking for some high quality AAE grade gemstones. You have one of the proceeds are donated towards Autism Sanctuaries, and you have 2 discount codes in the description box. Also, let me know what your interpretation of this art would be. I would love to hear what that is for you, how that shows up for you, and what you decode in this experience. And let me know what change you're being called to lean into, and what thought or thoughts are flowing through the mind that you're observing when it comes to that change. And how, when you allow your mind to go nowhere, suddenly you're in a realm that everything is. I'm hearing lean in to what feels good, not familiar.